Morning, folks. Today's another shaving cream, and this one here is brought to us by Omega. This one here has a eucalyptus scent, uh, which might remind some folks of menthol, but definitely an eye opener and nose. Helps open up the nose early in the morning. And decided today that I'd follow up with this shave with aftershave from Stirling. This one here is Wintergreen, and it's in this particular container. It's a brown container, but so it's hard to see. But the aftershave itself is the color is pink in color, uh, which for some folks that may not realize that that wintergreen is in pink. I've got it whipped up here in a bowl with a Shaven Sailor handle here. This one here is a 3D printed handle with a synthetic knot. This particular knot, if you've been around in the circle of wet shaving or traditional shaving long enough, this particular knot, when you look at the thumb, the picture, might be, some people might relate it to Omega's Syntec type knot. And it works well for me. I know it's not the most popular knot out there, but it whips up a lather pretty easy, and this scent is good for my nose. It's what it looks like there in the bowl. I get kind of carried away sometimes in my own thoughts. But anyway, this particular handle, if you're looking for just a handle and you can put your own knot in it, it's only, what, 12 bucks. I'll have a link down below if you want to check it out. Comes in different colors, and there's one, this one here is referred to as the smooth handle, and there's another one, I think it's, spiral. Yeah, that's what is referred to. I call it twisted because it's twisted right here in the middle. Anyway, that's, sometimes I see things, that's what I think, and anyway. I thought twisted would sounds kind of better, but anyway, blade of choice today. This is the wrapper for the Shark Platinum. As far as I know, my experience has been that when you get a Shark blade, whether it's a platinum, super chrome, or super stainless, or whatever the case might be, all the wrappings look just like this one here. Just in case somebody had a need to know. So if you take them out of the pack and then you mix them up, you may not know what you get until you actually open the wrapper to see what's inside. Just something to think about if you buy some Shark blades. Shaver of the day, Alpha Ecliptic. This one here is blue. Back when these first came out, there was, I think, like an antique gold. There was black, and then, of course, we had the blue one here. And it is just like the Bakelite as it goes for the head design, except for all this is made out of aluminum. Yes, that's what it looks like there. And it's probably going to be really hard to see, but you might be able to see the etching right there on the head. And like I say, the whole thing is aluminum. I've got a link down below with some of the information. The weight of this razor is like 1.37 ounces, something like that. Just under an ounce and a half, if you will, and about 4 inches in length. It is fairly lightweight. It does weigh a little bit more than the Bakelite, of course, but it's still a lightweight razor, and I guess you might say in the big realm of things. I've already put a hot towel to the face this morning, so I'm going to go ahead and wet my face and continue on with what's left of my Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements Preshave Cube. This one here is the Holliday scented one, and it has lasted a good long while. That's something if you're interested in pre-shave soaps. You kind of get your money's worth out of a cube. At least for me, I know I do. They seem to last quite a while. This will be my first time go with this particular razor. I expect it's going to be a lot like the Bakelite. And so we will see how it works out for me. I do like this the Bakelite. I mean the blue color. It was to me it seemed like it came across it. You know how when things come across on a computer screen or on your phone, colors might be slightly different. And I like this blue is a deeper blue. And I like the deeper blue color as opposed to a lighter blue on this particular razor. Not that that has any bearing on the shave itself, but yeah, it's when you're buying your equipment and whatnot, You want something that appeals to you, of course. And the only thing that might make this difference if it came in red, I probably would have got the red one. Red being one of those colors I really do like. I do like the blue, but I prefer the red over the blue. All right. Like I said, this particular knot is probably not everybody's favorite, but it's still a very soft knot. It's not pokey in my opinion. It doesn't, doesn't have stabby ends. At least I don't think it does. And when I got these knots, they were pretty inexpensive. And they work well for me. This one here, like I say, is a 24 millimeter knot. The Omega brushes I've got that's got the synthetic knot that's quite a bit smaller, and they work just fine for me. And you can kind of tell, yeah, it's a little on the drippy side, not real drippy, but it's still wet because a little bit's still coming out of the knot. That is one thing about this knot. If you're unfamiliar with it, it seems to hold water in between the bristles fairly well. So when you're using a shaving cream like this one here, you really want to squeeze most of the water out, so that way you don't get too much water in your shaving cream. Is something to think about. This one here, like I say, it does a good job of holding water in between the bristles. Might surprise some folks. In other words, might be a little unpleasant because then you got to put more shaving cream in the bowl in order to get it to work up right, because otherwise it's going to be too wet. With this Sharp Platinum, I have used this blade a time or two, not too terribly often, but it seems to work fairly well. And I got a link down below. I think the 100 pack is going for, I think, right around 12 bucks, if I remember right. Pretty inexpensive. Should mention also, if you're a person that travels, or perhaps you don't have a great big old plastic container sitting over here like I do, that I put all my used razor blades in. It comes in a plastic container where you can put your used blades down at the bottom. For some folks that might be kind of important. Make it a little bit easier to dispose of your used blades. You could always, I guess you might say, spring for the what they call in some circles a sharps container. In other words, it's a medical thing that they use. Say medical, in other words, the medical field use it. They put all their used needles and stuff like that in there. You could go that route if you wanted to. And sometimes, I think it's my daughter's hair that ends up on my head. It's funny. Pretty smooth so far. I mean, one of these days in the future, and it may be a while, but I think I'm going to venture off and use a feather blade in this shaver one day. Put it on camera just to see how the shave goes. It's always interesting when you get a smooth shaver and then you try a blade like a feather blade to see how well it works for you. In some cases, you'll get actually, I guess you might say, more use out of that blade than what you're expecting. Feather blades not being all that cheap, of course, so when I buy them, usually it's a long wait in between sales where it gets down to a price point where I'm willing to spring for them. Because I think it's not uncommon for a 100 pack to go for like 40, 50 bucks or something like that. They're not cheap, but put it in the right razor, you'll get quite a bit of use out of them. So that price per shave starts to work down economically in other words, if you're breaking down the math. Man, this smells great. Oh, I should mention also this particular shaving cream not only comes in a tube, this tube is plastic if I didn't mention it before, but also comes in a tub. Now, like I say, I got a link down below, but Douglas goes in some more detail about what kind of aluminum he chose to have this made from, as it goes for durability. And it feels pretty good in the hands. I do like this, the knob, if you're kind of wondering, especially if you're not running water throughout your shave and you're rinsing it off in your sink water. This part right here, I find that's pretty easy to hang on to as you're swirling around in the sink, rinsing off the shaving cream. It's interesting because of how your beard growth is. That direction from me this way seems more against the grain than it does across the grain. I have two spots under, I guess you might say, underneath my jaw right here. This side over here grows in a spiral. Not real sure what the issue is over here. I've been able to quite put my finger on it. But if I'm not real careful with certain shavers, especially years gone by, strawberry patches will pop up over here and here. It's just, one of those things that each individual will find out about their beard growth and how it grows, and how to be careful about certain spots that just seems to be prone to irritation, if you will. So in other words, for some folks, against the grain pass is not going to be in their card. So maybe one pass, in other words, across the grain one direction and switch it up on the next pass going the other way, might work better for them. Or you might just get lucky and just do a two pass and be good. Certain shavers, I can do that. This one here feels pretty good. Second pass, I have just a little, in other words, if I changed up that second pass right through here, there's a little bit left right there, but everything else is already pretty smooth. So smooth and efficient with a sharp platinum blade. Looks like a pretty good match. I do, how can you say, do the swirl and paint. Swirl in the bowl when I'm whipping up the lather, and paint when I apply the lather. It just works better for me. Not the best at face lathering. It might be the reason why I enjoy the painting. It seems to work better for me. I've watched several videos with folks that do the face lathering, and they do a fantastic job. For me, I have to be very careful when I do such a thing, because it has a tendency to irritate my neck just a little bit, and nothing like having your neck already irritated before you even start your shave. It's something I'd have to learn how to get around. Day being Tuesday, Thanksgiving is coming up. Black Friday sales are coming up. And there is one in particular that kind of caught my eye, which I'll have to, guess you might say, look and do some deciding. If you're interested in a icon, was it a B1 slant, I think is what it's referred to as. So in other words, this head is, of course, made out of aluminum. This one here, the icon B1 slant, I think it's called, referred to. It's black in color. It's made out of stainless steel, if I remember correctly. And typically, it's kind of expensive, just the head alone. I think the head alone normal price is almost as much as this entire shaver here. But a lot of people do like it. I think Maggots plans on having it on sale, the head on sale on Friday, starting, was 11 a.m. Eastern time. So Central time for me makes it 10 o'clock. That head, I think, is normally about 65 bucks, I think, and the going price on Friday will be 40, like 39.99 or something like that, basically 40 bucks. So if you're interested in that head, that would be a good time to probably pick it up, because otherwise it does get quite expensive. Of course, that, like I said, that's the head, that's without the handle. And if you're like me, you've already got plenty of handles. And you may already have a handle from Icon to begin with, and it'll work just fine with it. In the future, I'll have a shave with it, but I'm using a handle from Razor Rock just because it looks great paired up that way. Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements alum block complete with rubber band. A blue rubber band at that. Just a little bit of stinging, not much, and it's on my neck. First time using it, of course, you know, pressure is going to be an issue and all that sort of thing, and getting the right kind of blade matched up for the best smoothness. And it's nothing to be alarmed about. In other words, I'd use this blade and this razor in the future because it did work rather well. I mean, no nicks, cuts, weepers, or anything quite like that, so it's a pretty smooth shave. There was nothing throughout the shave that indicated that I was going to end up with any irritation, so it went well. Humphreys Witch Hazel. Yeah, this bottle is big. It's 16 ounces. It's going to last a good long moment. And if you're unfamiliar with Humphreys, that's what the squirter looks like. It's pretty small. Kind of help keep the amount flowing at a slower rate instead of one with a great big opening. I know I keep on mentioning it, but I never know where people are going to be watching the video. This particular Humphreys is unscented. In other words, no scent has been added to it, but it does have a scent to it, and it is noticeable. My nose picks it up, so if I figure if my nose picks it up, yours probably will without a problem. My nose is not being the best in the world, so that sort of thing is worth pointing out, because some people, you know, you think unscented, and it's got a scent to it. It's just naturally occurring. I should mention this one here, and this is just me. Matthew Lawrence here recently tried a soap, and it had something, I think it was orange in it, that interacted with his skin, and it didn't sit well with him. This one here, I still cannot put my finger on it. I don't think it's irritation. I think it's just the way the aftershave, how you say, goes on my face. I find that this one here has a, oddly enough, it does have a little bit of a cooling effect, but also it seems like a warming effect. And I don't know for sure if that's what it's supposed to be. Is it just me that it does that to? It's not alarming. My face doesn't turn red or anything quite like that, but I can feel what's going on. But like menthol, you know, the cooling effect. Well, this one here seems to have almost like a cooling and then a warming effect. It's kind of odd. Anyway, I want to show you the restrictor, and also you can kind of see that pink color. Yes, it is pink. It would be hard to show you on camera what it looks like with my hand, because it'll run out by the time I get it up to the camera. But it is pink in color. It's not my wife's favorite. She calls it Pepto-Bismol. She does not like it. But for me, like I say, I feel the cooling effect, then I feel what feels like warming. It's really kind of odd. In other words, this is the only aftershave that I have that does such a thing for me. So I don't know if I'm actually having a reaction to it, even though my face doesn't turn red, or if that's just how it's supposed to feel. I kind of think it's me, as opposed to this is how the aftershave works. I think there's something in it that maybe wintergreen is not my thing, even though I love the smell of it. Definitely love the candy when you can find it like that. Anyway, I had a great shave this morning. Went really well. Really enjoy this shaver, the Bakelite version, the aluminum, either one. I really like it. Works well for me. Had a great shave today. Hope everybody's doing well. Stay healthy, stay safe, and smooth shaves to you.